In this video, I'm going to teach you something that can radically change the course of your life. Not tomorrow, not in the distant future, but starting right now, today. These teachings are not theories or guesses. They come straight from the powerful insights of Neville Goddard, one of the greatest metaphysical teachers of the 20th century. If you've ever wondered how to bridge the gap between your desires and your reality, if you've ever asked yourself, why isn't it working for me? Or if you've simply been lost in the noise of spiritual practices without ever experiencing real transformation, then listen closely. Because what you're about to hear isn't just another motivational message. This is the heart of Neville Goddard's method. This is where the real magic begins. Not in thinking harder or visualizing longer, but in feeling it. Yes, the secret is in the feeling. This is your step-by-step guide to mastering what Neville called the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I will teach you how to feel it, how to live in the state of your desired outcome, and how to impress that feeling so deeply into your consciousness that your outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner state. So sit back, take a deep breath, and open your mind, because everything you want is already here, waiting for you to feel it real. Let's begin by understanding the foundational truth of Neville Goddard's teachings. Imagination is God, and feeling is the secret. This might sound simple, but it's one of the most profound truths you will ever encounter. When Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he meant more than just visualizing your dreams or saying affirmations. He meant you must become the person who already has what you desire. You must feel it in your bones. You must wear it like a new skin. You must think from it, live from it, breathe from it. Most people make the mistake of trying to get to their desires, as if the thing they want exists outside of them, in some far-off future. But Neville teaches us to reverse that logic. Instead of chasing your desire, you assume you already are the person who possesses it. You don't wait for evidence in the physical world. You bring the evidence to life within your imagination, through vivid sensory detail and emotional conviction. You feel it as if it were already yours. And here's where most people get stuck. They think they understand this concept because they've heard it before, but they haven't felt it. They haven't taken the time to truly sink into the sensation of their wish fulfilled. They're trying to create with their minds, but manifestation happens in the heart. This is why Neville emphasized feeling. Because feeling is the language of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious is the engine of all creation. You impress your desire onto the subconscious not by logic or repetition alone, but by experiencing the feeling of its reality so vividly that your inner world becomes more real than the outer one. This is not about fantasy or wishful thinking. It's about claiming your divine power as the operant power, the creator of your world. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are no longer hoping, you are knowing. And that knowing, when sustained, must externalize itself. The world is simply yourself pushed out, and it will always mirror back to you what you most deeply feel. So if you want to change your world, change what you feel to be true. I will teach you how to do that. We'll walk step by step through this process together, and by the end, you will not only understand it, you will embody it. Now, let me guide you into the sacred art of feeling. It begins not in the mind, but in the heart, and more specifically, in the body. Feeling is not a thought. It is not an affirmation said without belief. It is not a mental construct you try to repeat until it magically becomes true. Feeling is the physical and emotional embodiment of your desire as if it were already real, already yours, already done. When Neville said to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he meant to bypass the intellect and sink into the sensory experience of having it now. That means you close your eyes, quiet the noise of the outer world, and begin to imagine not from the outside looking in, but from the inside, looking out. This is the greatest shift you will ever make. To imagine from the state of the wish fulfilled means you are no longer a person who wants. You are now a person who has. And this shift is not conceptual, it is felt. Let's say you desire financial abundance. Don't imagine stacks of money from a distance. Don't watch yourself like a character in a movie. Instead, feel what it's like to wake up knowing you are completely supported, completely secure. Feel the softness in your body when you no longer worry about bills. Feel the freedom when you walk into a store and know you can buy what you desire. Feel the ease, the confidence, the quiet joy of having already arrived. That feeling, that state, is what impresses the subconscious. The mind may say, this is not real, but your body will start to believe it. And here's the miracle. Once your body believes it, your world begins to shift. People will show up. Opportunities will unfold. Synchronicities will accelerate, but not because you chased them. They come because you finally aligned your inner state with the vibration of having. And this is true for anything: love, health, purpose, peace. Imagine being in a relationship, not watching it, but feeling the weight of your partner's hand in yours. Smell their scent. Hear their laughter in your ear. Rest in the warmth of knowing you are deeply loved and desired. This is the work. This is the power. When you feel it real, you move into the only true creative state. Neville said, "Feeling is the secret," and those 4 words carry within them the seed of all creation. You do not have to force or beg or plead. You do not need to convince or control others. You only need to enter the state and dwell in it. And when you dwell in it, it begins to dwell in you. You will begin to live from it, and not merely think about it. You will walk, talk, and breathe as someone who already has their desire, and the outer world will rush to confirm it. Not because the world changed first, but because you did. This is how powerful you are. You are not here to observe reality. You are here to create it, and you create it by what you feel to be true. So ask yourself now, what am I feeling? Not what am I thinking, what am I feeling? Am I feeling lack, fear, waiting, hoping? Or am I feeling abundance, gratitude, peace, fulfillment? The answer to that question will show you exactly what you are creating. And if you want to change your outer world, you must first change your inner feeling. That is the work. That is the way. So how exactly do you move into the feeling of the wish fulfilled when everything around you seems to contradict it? How do you feel rich when your bank account says otherwise? How do you feel loved when you're alone? How do you feel healthy when your body is in pain? These are the questions that every student of Neville Goddard must face, and the answer begins with a radical understanding. Your outer world is not the cause. It is the effect. The cause is always within. This is why Neville taught that imagining creates reality, not the other way around. You don't feel good because good things happen. Good things happen because you feel good. And so, the work is not to argue with the facts of your life, but to ignore them, not from denial, but from spiritual authority. You look beyond the senses. You suspend disbelief. You move inward. You turn your attention away from what is, and place it fully on what you choose to create. And you do this by entering into the scene of your fulfilled desire, as though it were happening now. Neville called this the controlled waking dream. It is not fantasy. It is the seed of reality. Close your eyes and see yourself already there, already healed, already chosen, already thriving. But more than seeing, feel. If you desire love, don't just see your partner. Feel the warmth of their arms around you. Feel the way your chest relaxes in their presence. Feel the smile you can't suppress when you look into their eyes. Let that scene saturate your body. Let it wash over you. Breathe into it until your body begins to respond as though it were already true. Because to the subconscious mind, it is true. And once the subconscious is impressed, it begins the work of externalization. Neville taught that creation is finished. All possibilities already exist. You are not creating something new. You are selecting a reality by embodying its vibration, and the bridge of incidents will begin to unfold. Not always in the way you expect, not always with trumpets and flashes, but always in perfect alignment with what you feel to be real. You might receive a phone call. You might get a sudden idea. Someone might cross your path unexpectedly. The world will rearrange itself to reflect the state you occupy. But none of that can happen if you remain in the state of wanting. Wanting is not the same as having. Hoping is not the same as knowing. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the experience of already having what you once wanted, and it is a feeling you must cultivate daily. Not just once. Not just for a few minutes in meditation, but as a state of being. Carry it with you. Revisit it. Re-enter it. Let it become your dwelling place, your emotional home. Because what you feel consistently becomes your life. And the most beautiful part of this truth is that you are in control. You can choose the feeling of fulfillment right now, regardless of your circumstances. You can teach your body how it feels to be free, to be loved, to be abundant, and in doing so, you become the operant power in your life. No one else creates for you. No one else is responsible. You are the imagination of God made flesh, and your only job is to feel it real. Everything else will follow. Not by force, not by effort, but by natural law. The outer must conform to the inner. That is the promise. That is the power. Now, let us speak about the role of repetition, because it is not enough to feel it once and then return to your old state of lack, fear, or confusion. Neville was clear: whatever you dwell upon, you bring to life. That means your dominant state, your most habitual inner feeling, becomes your world. This is why daily practice is essential, not as a chore, but as a sacred ritual of remembrance. Every time you feel it real, every time you return to the state of the wish fulfilled, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind, reconditioning your nervous system, and realigning your personal reality with the state of your choosing. It is not about trying to manipulate the outer world. It is about remaining faithful to your inner one. Think of your desired state like a frequency. When you tune into it consistently, it becomes the only channel you receive. That's when things begin to change. But the moment you slip back into doubt, fear, or waiting for it to happen, you shift back to the old station, and you see the results of the old programming. So your only job is to hold the feeling, to return to it over and over again, to live from it as much as possible throughout your day. And yes, doubt will arise. The old story will try to reclaim you. The outer world will tempt you to believe in its facts. But remember this, the facts of life are nothing compared to the truths of imagination. Neville said, disregard appearances. Persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. And so, when fear shows up, you do not fight it. You return to the feeling. When doubt creeps in, you do not analyze it. You return to the feeling. When your senses scream, this is not real, you smile, close your eyes, and return to the inner scene where it is real. Because that inner world is your power. It is your laboratory of creation. And every moment you spend dwelling in your desire fulfilled, you are fertilizing the soil of your future. You are impressing the subconscious with the only thing it understands, feeling. Not words, not thoughts, not logic, feeling. So ask yourself, how would I feel right now if everything I wanted was already mine? Ask it again and again until the answer becomes second nature. Practice it in the morning. Practice it at night. Practice it when you feel discouraged, and especially when nothing seems to be happening. Because something is happening. You are planting. You are watering. You are shaping the unseen. And just like a seed takes time to grow beneath the soil, so too does your desire take time to manifest in form. But your job is not to dig it up and check. Your job is to trust, to feel it real, and to persist in that feeling regardless of outer appearances. That is the meaning of faith. Faith is not hoping it might work. Faith is knowing it already has. And when you walk in that faith, when you carry the energy of your answered prayer, the world cannot help but conform to your inner assumption. Because imagination creates reality, and what you feel, you become. What you feel, you live. What you feel, you are. So repeat it with me now, I already have it. I already am it. I already feel it. And because I feel it, I will see it. This is the law. This is the truth. Let's make this real now. Let's talk about how to take everything you've learned and actually live it. Not just in your quiet moments of meditation, but in your daily life, in the places where it's hardest to believe, where the old story feels the strongest. This is where the transformation truly begins. Neville taught that you are always in a state, whether you're aware of it or not. And the key is not to try and force your outer world to comply, but to choose, again and again, to live from the state you desire. That means when you walk into a room, you walk in as the version of you who already has the thing you've been longing for. You speak from it. You carry yourself differently. You move through the world no longer asking, will it happen, but resting in the quiet certainty that it already has. And you know what happens when you do that? The world responds. People sense something different about you. Doors open that were previously shut. Conversations unfold that feel orchestrated. Why? Because you are no longer living as someone who is waiting. You are living as someone who has arrived. This is not pretending. This is choosing a new identity. It is remembering who you really are, the one who selects states and lives from them. And when you feel that reality deeply and consistently, it begins to take root. You no longer react to life. You create it. You no longer beg for change. You embody it. You no longer pray from desperation. You commune with the divine within you, knowing that your assumption is already the answer. Neville said, your assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. That means you don't have to get it perfect. You don't need to feel it with intensity every second. You only need to persist, to return again and again to that inner scene, that inner knowing, that inner feeling of completion. And the more you do, the more natural it becomes. Until one day, it no longer feels like a technique. It feels like the truth. It is the truth. You are that version. You are living from it. And when that happens, manifestation becomes inevitable. Not by effort, but by alignment. Not by striving, but by being. So today, begin. Choose one desire, one scene, one feeling, and enter it now. Don't wait until you think you're ready. Don't wait for proof. Assume it, feel it, live from it. And if you fall out of state, don't judge yourself. just go back in. This is a practice. This is a path. And the more you walk it, the more natural it becomes. You'll look back one day and realize, you didn't chase your dreams, you became them. And they had no choice but to find you. That is the power of feeling it real. That is the promise of Neville's work. And now, that power belongs to you. Use it, trust it, live it.